Get started tonight. Appreciate everybody coming. So I would like to go ahead and please stand for a moment of prayer. On this one here, I would like to go ahead and stand for a moment of silence because we had a tragedy a few weeks ago with the family, the Foxwell family, and it has touched everybody around here in the community. So let's just stand and have a prayer for them and pray for that family because they're having the funeral and stuff tomorrow.
Heavenly Father, as always, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love, your grace, your mercy, your comfort, and just your provision and all that you do for us day in and day out. Father, bless our county, bless our towns, bless our state, our country, as well as our world. We just we thank you, we love you, and we say all this in your Son's most precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Stepp. Okay, okay, we've got the agenda before us. Is there any additions, deletions, or correction to the agenda?
Mr. President, if I may,
Yes.
I'd like to add an agenda item under the county manager report for adding a request to amend the grant request for our airport for an FAA grant.
Yes, sir. Okay, is there a motion?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to amend one of the airport's agenda. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Haight? Aye.
Okay. Okay. Did we say where we were going to put that?
Under county manager.
County managers.
Oh, okay, so we're just going to put it on you.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
gotcha.
It's under
Okay.
clay stuff.
It's on the clay stuff. Okay, no problem. All right, next is the minutes of May 13th and May 27th. The council has had a chance to take a look at that. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes? Okay.
None here.
All right, none said. The chair moves that the minutes be accepted as unanimous consent. The disbursements is next, June 17th, June 24th, and July 1st. We've had a chance to take a look at that. Is there any deletions, corrections, or additions to the disbursements? Okay. Okay. Hearing none, the chair moves that the disbursements be accepted as unanimous consent. Okay. All right. First on the agenda here is introduction of an administrative resolution. Madam Secretary, would you mind reading that, please?
An administrative resolution establishing a senior citizens task force. Whereas the County Council of Talbot County, Maryland is desirous of formally establishing a senior citizens task force for the purposes of evaluating and making recommendations to the County Council regarding services for homeless senior citizens in Talbot County, as more fully set forth in this administrative resolution. Now therefore be it resolved by the County Council of Talbot County, Maryland, that 1, the County Council hereby establishes the Senior Citizens Task Force for the following purposes: evaluating and making recommendations to the County Council regarding services for homeless senior citizens in Talbot County with consideration given to the following: housing, transportation, and meals. The task force shall consist of the following individuals who shall serve for the terms indicated below and, except as otherwise indicated, be entitled to vote on all matters before the task force: an individual currently serving on the Talbot County Commission on Aging, an individual currently serving on the Board of Directors of Delmarva Community Services, an individual currently serving on the Board of Directors of Talbot Interfaith Shelter, an individual currently serving on the Board of Directors of the Neighborhood Service Center, a member of the Talbot County Health Department Senior Care Program, a member of the Easton Town Council, and a member of the County Council. Each task force member shall be recommended by the entity on which they serve for appointment by the County Council. Task force members shall serve for a term of 3 years and may serve multiple terms. In the event that any task force member ceases to serve on the recommending entity before the expiration of their term on the task force, that recommending entity shall recommend another individual from among their membership for appointment by the county council to serve the remainder of the term. The individual serving the remainder of their predecessor's term on the task force shall be eligible for reappointment as set forth herein. Administrative support for the task force shall be provided by the county manager. Legal support for the committee shall be provided by the Office of Law. Task force members shall serve at the pleasure of the county council and may be removed at any time by a majority vote of the county council. The task force shall meet at least monthly with individual meetings, with additional meetings as needed. The chairperson of the task force shall provide task force reports at least once per quarter at regularly scheduled county council meetings. Task force meetings shall comply with the Maryland Open Meetings Act, Maryland Annotated Code, General Provisions, Section 3-101, as amended hereafter from time to time. Be it further resolved that this administrative resolution shall take effect immediately upon adoption. Introduced by the County Council of Talbot County, Maryland at a regular meeting on July 1, 2025, at which meetings were available for the public for inspection. Adopted by the County Council of Talbot County at a regular meeting on July 1, 2025, at which meeting copies were available for the public inspection. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County this first day of July in the year of our Lord 2025.
Okay, good job. Thank you. Do we want to discuss?
I'll just mention.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it has come to our attention that we do have a growing problem with homeless senior citizens. They are in need of services, particularly in the Easton area, but throughout the county. But we know of at least 52 in this area. Because of their senior citizens, they have special needs that really can't be covered by the Interfaith Shelter. So the organizations that provide the type of services that are listed in the administrative resolution would pull together to come up with a plan for helping that, whether it's acquiring real estate, apartments, living accommodations, and other things. And I think it's extremely important that we form this task force and move forward to address those special needs.
Okay. Patrick, you kind of put this together, so, yep.
Yes, I worked with Councilmember Ilke to put this together.
Yep, okay.
I don't have anything additional to add, but I can answer any questions that desired.
And this is being done for functions that wouldn't be covered by the Commission on Aging or Upper Shore Aging.
That's true. That's true. It's not within their purview to deal with this particular issue.
Okay.
So did the Commission on Aging or any of the homeless shelter entities request the task force or no?
Yeah, well,
Through you?
yes. Yeah, well, it came up because I'm the liaison to the Commission on Aging, and it came up, the need came up at a meeting, and it was determined that maybe a task force to further explore what was needed and how those needs could be met would be a good idea to service that unique population.
So would a task force be a need, or would we want to start with a work session with those entities to determine a task force?
Well, what was discussed, the Upper Shore Aging was forming a task force with people, a variety of people that had experience in other areas that could formulate a plan.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. I thought this was a great idea, but the first thing that come to my mind was, do we get these groups and we have a work session and kind of get a game plan and everybody's on the wavelength? I was thinking of some type of work session to talk through all this, just to sort of make sure that we were going in the right direction with the needs of these 50 people.
Well,
So-
I mean, there's 50 we know of, we don't know all. of
Well,
them.
I mean, it's probably more than that, it's probably
Right,
double, it's
exactly.
probably double that. But I don't necessarily have a problem with this. I just think we need to probably get in a room and discuss it with people before we put something in place.
Which people?
Where we're asking, a lot of people to do a lot of work and put this task force together. And I think what we could do is we could sort of, get a foundation on a work session first to get the framework to do this.
And I would think data, personally.
Yeah, and that's another good idea, to maybe so we know, like you say, Lynn, there might be more than 50 people, and then, it's gonna help to try to figure out too, where we're gonna put, these unfortunate people, where we put them at.
So Upper Shore Aging makes a determination that there is this cohort that lacks services that are needed, and that's not enough for us to just form a task force. It has to be a workshop first.
I think it needs a workshop to talk through it. A work session, so to speak, just a work session. I mean, I'm over here, at the Neighborhood Service Center, and I see it every day. I'm over there, I've been over there for a month. I see the need. But I just feel like we might want to start, I think we need to start with a work session. That's what I'm saying.
So that we can, I think at least for me, so that we can hear the same information.
Yeah, I'm not against,
Yeah, I
I'm
think
not
the
against
task
it, but
force is great, but I think the starting point would be to have the work session with the group of people that you're getting the information from
Correct.
as well, Lynn.
yeah,
And then have the task force established based on that information that the entire council is receiving, because right now we don't have, unless I miss data or
Right.
statistics and information in regards to this.
Is it assuring buy-in from the groups here?
Yes, I would think.
Would it-
Buy-in of roles, establishing roles as it relates to the task force as well.
Most of the positions that are identified in this administrative resolution are people who also serve on Upper Shore Aging. So they all participated in the concept of having a task force. So, I mean, if you want to be redundant, fine.
Mhm.
I think the council as a whole should hear them, right?
I think.
I don't know how council normally works in regards to an administrative resolution,
Would-
but I'm just thinking a workshop would allow us to hear what you're hearing and what they're hearing, and then establish the task force as a result of that
Right.
work session. I don't know what normally comes first.
Would
Okay.
help me out here. Would the course forward be to call for introduction tonight, ask staff to schedule a work session, and put after a work session, then we can put this on the agenda for final
We can
action.
move forward, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, that's
Is
what I
that-
said.
Patrick, is that customary procedure to have a work session before you appoint a task force?
The only one that comes to immediate mind was the bicycle pedestrian safety task force. And I don't recall whether there was a work session held.
There wasn't. So because I guess they're senior citizens, you're putting another level of delay by having a work session rather than moving forward with a task force. I hear you.
So-
Just for clarity, was there a work session with the pedestrian and bicycle task?
Yes,
Or-
sir, last July.
Okay.
Yeah, because I would think, in order to establish the task force, we would have had to have a meeting with groups to identify that a task force is needed, correct? I mean,
Yeah.
is that the way it works?
It was at the library.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Cassandra said that there was
Yeah.
a task force, but yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that typically how it works? We have the work session to establish that there's a need for a task force or a committee to study specific items. We already have the specifics, but
Well, and that might have been a bit different in that it was starting from scratch, and here you have the organization that has already recommended that this be done, so it may be redundant to then have another work session for them to say this, you've just reached the same conclusion. So it's not quite apples to apples.
so the organization requested a task force to council?
Well, I'm understanding from Councilmember Milky.
Yes.
But not to the entire number.
I don't have qualms about moving forward now, but if council would prefer to invite them in for a work session to hear, I can support that course as well.
I would be fine with that as well. I mean, if it could be open for public comment as well during that session. I mean, again, I'm not opposed to it at all, but if council, some members of council feel that, you know, we need to have this, then that's fine. Let's just open in further transparency.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think what Councilman Lasher recommended, I mean, we can,
Administrative resolution.
what did you say, vote to
Well,
introduce it?
certainly introduce it now.
Yeah, introduce it now and have the work session scheduled,
Thank you.
and then
Yeah.
come back to
Sure.
formally vote.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
introduce it now.
Right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree with that.
So
Okay.
technically, hasn't it been introduced, or were we just trying to introduce it as show of hands?
We need to show of hands
Yeah.
for introduction here.
It's show of hands.
So you're going to introduce it
We're
tonight?
gonna introduce it, and
You'll
then we're
call
gonna have
for
a work session.
And then after the work session, you'll bring it up for
Yep.
action.
Yep,
Yeah.
that good?
I guess so. That's what you all want.
Okay.
I'm telling you ahead of time.
Okay. Okay, raise a
Show
hands.
of hands.
Show of hands.
Do you wish to introduce?
Don't you think it's your, there you go.
Introduced by council.
Well, no, it was what was tacked onto it that I don't,
We're-
But you gotta introduce.
You gotta introduce.
no, I introduce it. I am.
By council.
Okay.
Introduced
All
by
right.
council.
Okay, all right. Okay,
So staff will
And-
reach out to the entities that Lynn
Yes,
has
we'll-
on that,
we'll
and
set
you'll
up a
have
work
Set
session
up a
as
work
quickly
session.
as possible.
that's great. That's great. Okay, good.
Can the public be part of that as well? I mean, just for
Oh,
open
absolutely.
opportunity for them to speak as well?
That's the whole point.
Well, usually a work session
Work
isn't a
session's usually for
hearing.
them just listening.
They
so-
could listen,
Yeah.
right.
It's
Yeah.
open to the public,
But
it's not necessarily for public comment.
But presumably you'll have all those entities represented there that would speak to the need which we would be asking.
Okay.
Mhm.
Without a context to have a public, speaking session as part of it?
Before we vote on this, it comes to public comment, doesn't it?
No, not in an admin resolution.
No, not, administrative resolutions don't typically have public hearings. You can, but they don't typically.
All right, well, let's let the council decide how we wanna move forward once we have this work session.
Okay.
That'll tell us a lot.
I'm just thinking we can kill two birds with one stone if we
Yeah,
have
no,
the
I'm
work
hearing
session,
you.
then open a public comment section. I mean, it might be good to hear from some
Mhm.
residents who may be in need that would like to
Mhm.
share their story or something, so,
Okay, all right,
yeah, I mean,
okay, good.
if is anyone opposed to that as part of the work session?
I just wanna follow whatever our normal procedures are.
Yeah, I think that.
What is the normal procedure, Patrick?
Well, I don't think there's a defined procedure for this, for creating a task force. And like I said, the way maybe done with the Bike and Pedestrian Safety Committee was different because it was just, you're starting from square one, whereas here you have an established organization that's already made this recommendation, it's now coming forward. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
But a recommendation hasn't formally been made to this body, to council. We don't have a formal recommendation to establish a task force.
You do. The administrative resolution
Right.
put forth by council.
Yes.
I mean, but I'm talking about from the entities. we don't have a formal letter saying, council, can you please establish a task force?
Well, I think you're right, but this is the whole point that why we should have at least a work session. You know, and I think we keep going back to setting the foundation and figuring out how we want to move forward with all these people and have a plan of some sort.
Yeah, we definitely need a plan. and we
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
hear from the
So
partners.
let's have the work session, and you know, let's just keep it at a normal work session. Get all the entities here, talk through it, and see how that goes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. Let's move on. Okay. Public hearings next, but we're not quite. We got a few minutes. So Clay stuff, you got like 7 minutes.
Okay.
Speed talk.
Okay, under county manager report, I'll start with the boards and committee appointments. The
Okay.
first one would be the Agriculture Land Preservation Advisory Board, requesting the appointment of Tamara Lees.
I move the appointment.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
The next would be the Airport Board, requesting the reappointment of Mr. Pete Griffin.
I move the reappointment.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Thank you, council. Next one would be Economic Development Commission, requesting the reappointment of Reza Jafari, Debbie Walsworth, and Chris Kleppinger to that board or commission.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
The next would be the Golf Board, requesting the reappointment of Mr. Ron Venner.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Everybody straight on that one?
Third.
Third,
Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Make sure I'm not moving too quickly.
There you go. There you go.
The next will be the Historic Preservation Commission, requesting the reappointment of Mr. John Renda to that commission.
I move the reappointment.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
And the next would be the Social Services Board of Directors. The Department of Social Services is requesting the reappointment of Sandy Brown, Samantha Jeter, and the appointment of Devin Beck and Tina Jones.
I move the 2 appointments and 2 reappointments.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
And finally, council, a very important committee, would be the Weed Control Committee,
It indeed is.
requesting the reappointment of Mr. John Swain III.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
You want me to keep rolling? That
Yeah.
takes care of board and committee appointments. Now
Yeah,
I
you could have a couple come up. Yep.
Okay, so Linda, could you come forward, please? So we have Department of Social Services here. They're requesting, recommending the award of bid 2510 to a sole bidder, the law offices of Stevens and Palmer LLC for Child and Adult Welfare Services not to exceed $99,555, and Child Support Services not to exceed $75,000. This is a pass-through. No county dollars involved. Linda's here to speak to you about this. And this is a renewal type of, we've done this in the past
Sure,
for
we've
social
done
services.
this. Yep, yep.
Right, thank you.
Well, welcome, Linda.
Thank you, and thanks so much for your recent vote on the board appointments. We really appreciate that.
Yes.
We're excited about the new board members. So as Mr. Stamp said, this is a longstanding relationship between the county and the Department of Social Services. We utilize legal services across multiple areas in the agency. We have legal representation, of course, in child welfare, when a child needs to be found, a child in need of assistance, or monitoring our reasonable efforts in establishing permanency for children in foster care. We have legal representation when we are a party in an adult public guardianship case, and in child support, we have legal representation when we are establishing paternity, child support orders, modifying orders, excuse me, and when needed, using certain enforcement actions with the court to enforce child support orders. So we are making the recommendation, as Mr. Stamp said, of the proposal submitted by Stevens Palmer Law Office. The contract will be for 1 year with an option to renew, I think, for up to 3 years. So this should be the last time you see me about this for the next few years. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any discussion, council?
No, motion to approve.
Just one, if you want to add a note about, because of the good work of your staff, how seldom you need these legal services for enforcement actions, that you really don't resort to that very often, because you get people to step up and do the right thing.
Yes, absolutely. And we have programs that support that. We have our Young Fathers Non-Custodial Parent Employment Program that work with non-custodial parents who are struggling with paying child support. We have recently started a program where we are asking individuals who are not paying child support to come in so that we can work with them to find out what barriers are in existence and try to help with applying for benefits, establishing job readiness, finding employment, and most importantly, retaining employment. So you're right, thank you, Mr. Lesher. We have a number of things in place.
I find it just extraordinary, the lengths that your staff has gone to help people find jobs so that they can support their children. It's really a great work your department is doing.
Thank you so much. It's a great team. Appreciate it.
Okay, any other questions? Okay.
All good, thank you.
All right, is there a motion?
I think Keisha moves, I'll second.
Okay, got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Haight?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Linda.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
We appreciate
Want
it.
to pass?
Yeah.
I mean,
Who's next?
well, I have Ray next, but that probably, you want me to hold now for your 5:30?
How about anybody else after Ray?
Well, I have the sheriff I can do. How is that?
Let's get the sheriff out of here. I know he got stuff to
all
do.
right.
He got stuff to do.
Okay, so we'll
Okay.
invite the sheriff up. We have a request from the sheriff's office. As you read in your agenda packet, the sheriff's office requesting council approval for the purchase of 30 in-car video cameras in the amount of $415,008 over a 5-year period. There are sufficient funds in the budget for this purchase. The cameras will have interoperability with their current system. And you have the sheriff's office present.
We want to videotape all the wonderful wildlife in Talbot County.
I'm sure.
In-car cameras.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, we're asking for that money. We think that it'll add one more level of transparency to the sheriff's office.
Okay.
In-car body cameras don't capture while you're driving. It kind of gets the steering wheel.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to have one so we can see exactly what's going on out there on
Okay.
the roads.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions?
Great idea.
Okay. Good.
I'll
Okay.
move approval.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Abstain?
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Haight?
Aye.
And
Okay.
council, while they're here, I just would like to thank the sheriff's office, the sheriff and his team. They've just really worked super well with Martha and her team with the finance office and procurement, and it's much appreciated. We have a really good, relationship going, recognizing the independence of the sheriff's office, but they work very closely with us, and it's.
Thank you, Mr.
Appreciate
Stan. Thank you,
Okay,
council.
thank you.
Have a great- good evening.
Yep, I got you. We'll sneak anybody else in before we,
Well,
short one? Sure.
Joe Hughes.
Yep, let's get Joe up here.
We'll bring
Yep.
Joe Hughes up.
Yep.
Joe, he has two issues that he wants to talk to you about real quick. The first is Department of Corrections requesting council approval to extend the county's contract with WealthPath for 1 year, with the amount of $659,541. Sufficient funds are in the budget for this contract extension. And again, this is to provide inmate wellness and health services. You want to add anything to that?
No, just that with the pretrial release that we're able to keep the cost down of the medical department. So we didn't really have to add much to my budget this year for the medical. So it was all in
Okay.
there.
Okay, good. All right. Any other discussion or
No.
questions for Joe?
I just appreciate the detail that we got in the
Yeah.
packet that showed the hours that you bring each of these services in. That just helps, I think, council's understanding of what you're able to provide for those who've lost their freedom.
Yeah. I know in the next few years, we'll probably have to add more mental health, but for right now, but the mental health is an issue that's really going up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Thank you, and while Joey's here, we'll just add, he's requesting council approval to extend the county's contract with Trinity Food Services Group for 1 year at a cost of $360,000. There's sufficient funds in the budget for this contract extension, and again, he's here to answer any questions relative to this.
I've had several food vendors before, and Trinity has done a great job since I've been here in Talbot, and
Good.
I
Yep.
hope to continue that.
Okay, great. Any other discussions or questions? Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Jim. Is that it for the time being, or is?
I think we're ready to go with the public hearing.
Okay, yeah, let's start with the public hearing. Yep, let's do that. So, Madam
Just
Sec-
click it some one time with your,
Oh, there we go. Couldn't find a little.
So, Madam Secretary, we're gonna start off with the second public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant.
Yes.
Is that where we're gonna start?
yes, this
Okay.
is a public hearing for the St. Vincent de Paul project, which is located at 29533 Canvasback Drive in Easton, Maryland, for an addition and renovations to the food pantry, thrift store, and client services facility.
Okay, that's good.
Good
Hey,
evening.
welcome.
Thank
Good
you very
evening.
much for having us this evening.
Yep.
So we are here to provide an update on a 2023 Community Development Block Grant funded project for an addition and renovation to the St. Vincent de Paul facility located on Canvasback Drive. The St. Vincent de Paul received $625,000 in CDBG funds, $100,000 in ARPA funds, and over $300,000 in private donors and other sources to assist with the construction of a 2,400 square foot food pantry addition and renovations to the thrift store and advisors services. The design and permitting process occurred through late 2023 into early 24, and the construction and reimbursement process began in late 24 and is now over 75% complete. Once the project is fully constructed, St. Vincent de Paul will need to track beneficiaries to fully comply with the DHCD requirements. A groundbreaking ceremony was held in August of 2024 and attended by DHCD staff and Assistant Secretary Gilbert, state legislators, council members, St. Vincent de Paul volunteers, Willow Construction, and many other community members. The site work began in October of 2024. And the first phase of construction was the 2,400 square foot food pantry addition. This new food pantry space provides greater storage and organization of groceries and household goods. And a new walk-in fridge and freezer will provide space for cold storage. The reconfigured office spaces provide privacy for meetings with advisors and neighbors in need. The renovated and enlarged thrift store and boutique shop will allow for better display and for dressing areas. The enlarged donation storage area will allow items to be sorted and categorized. The space is currently being used temporarily for the advisors while they're making the addition and renovations. The expanded parking area provides more spacious spaces and incorporates an on-site circular pattern for food pantry pickup. And a huge thank you goes to all of the St. Vincent de Paul volunteers, to the Department of Housing and Community Development, the state, county, and town elected officials, Willow Construction and their design team, to the private donors, and so many others that help St. Vincent de Paul provide the much needed services and support for our Talbot neighbors in need. An extra special thank you goes out to John Plaskin. He is with St. Vincent de Paul. He's here with me this evening. He is a quote-unquote volunteer, but he is everything associated with this job. He's been a project manager, a supervisor, a financial officer, and many other hats. And so I would like to especially say thank you for his help in getting us through this project and the grant that requires a lot of extra paperwork. It's been a pleasure to work with him, and so I wanted to give him an opportunity to say a few things about the project and maybe give us an update on an anticipated grand reopening for St. Vincent de Paul.
Thank you very much for having me here tonight. You know, you make the mistake, say, oh, I can help you with that. And so here I am, serving as president of our conference and the building project manager. It's kind of a fun project, though, to work on when you know, work doing something bricks and mortar related. And we are, I saw data recently where, as from our fiscal years 10/1 to 9/30, so from 10/1 through May, the food pantry has served just under 4,000 unduplicated individuals in Talbot County. We have a much better data collection system now, and I'm planning on applying that to our financial assistance so that we can better track the folks we're serving there. We also have, about seniors, we track how many seniors we're serving in the food pantry and in financial assistance as well. So I'd be happy to share data along those lines as needed. The project is well underway. You know, it hits its bumps and so on, but we're looking to wrap it up by the end of July, if all goes well. And we're just going to have a soft reopening with, because the food pantry, we phased this so that none of the services would shut down. So the food pantry had to move over, and we had to set up, and so that's why we have temporary things going on. We phase this 3 phases so that we don't miss a beat serving people in the community. We are going to plan to have a grand reopening probably early September, and so we're working on that now, and we'll certainly inform everyone that has been involved with this project to see if they can attend that official event. Anybody have any questions?
Okay.
No questions, just a big thank you for all that that St. Vincent de Paul is doing for this community. You're so vital to this community, and now you'll have even greater capacity to serve. So a great deal of appreciation from us for all that you're doing.
We're expecting to expand what we're doing after it's completed. So I'll just recognize that we have 350 volunteers.
Wow.
With our conference.
Yeah.
It's a great support from the community to make this all happen.
Okay. Any other discussions or questions for them?
No, I remember the
Yep.
groundbreaking was very hot that day.
Yes, it was.
And actually was having a conversation with someone today about the fashion show that was put on by St. Vincent, and great fashion show and was glad that I was able to support because you really do great work over there. And I'm
Thank you.
amazed by the number of volunteers.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll go ahead now and open the public hearing up. And we'll go ahead and give the people the opportunity for 3 minutes for individual and 5 minutes for organization. So does anybody on my left here want to come on up and discuss St. Vincent de Paul? Okay, here on the right. Okay. All right, so Madam Secretary, is this open for a vote?
No
Or-
vote,
n-
you've met the requirement.
Okay, so do we?
Can move to third reader, right? Can we move to third
We're
reader?
done.
You don't even have to
Yeah.
move to third reader,
W-
it's
just-
we
Just
we
an
have
update
option.
required by the
Just as
state
just an update?
to have a second
Okay.
public hearing to let you know what the status of the project
Okay,
is.
so a vote not needed?
Correct.
Okay, good. All right, okay, so we want to do the second one? Okay.
So next is a public hearing. This is a new project, a community development block grant special project for Talbot Interfaith Shelters located at 107 and 109 Goldsborough Street, Easton, Maryland. Talbot Interfaith Shelters is seeking $121,090 for elevator lift improvements at Easton's Promise and Evelyn's Place homeless shelter facilities.
Okay. The Talbot Interfaith Shelter is seeking council support to apply for a community development block grant special project application in the amount of $121,090. The funds will be used to purchase and construct a commercial elevator lift at Easton's Promise Family Shelter located at 107 Goldsborough, and a second commercial elevator lift at Evelyn's Place, the individual shelter located at 109 Goldsborough. Since advertising, the request was reduced by $3,520 as the shipping and freight costs will be paid by private donors. Although the FY26 CDBG annual competitive funding round has been postponed, DHCD is accepting special project category applications on a first-come, first-served basis. The Talbot Interfaith Shelter had submitted letters of interest for previous annual CDBG funding rounds and through the COVID CARES Act funds and other sources, and was found to be the best fit through this special project funding category. In FY18, Talbot Interfaith Shelter did receive CDBG funding for the transformation of an open porch into an enclosed counseling and training center, along with some ADA improvements within and around the family shelter at 107 Goldsborough. The project approval included $8,280 for a residential mechanical lift, but it was determined during permitting that a commercial lift is required at a shelter facility. So due to the lack of funds to cover this expense, the elevator lift was not part of the 2018 project. So we're here this evening seeking public comment and subsequently county council support through administrative resolution to seek funds from the Department of Housing and Community Development for the 2 commercial lifts, one at each of the family and individual shelter facilities located on Goldsborough. Executive Director Julie Lowe is here with me this evening to provide any additional project details as needed. And this is a draft so far of the application that's needed through CDBG. So this is not a light lift to get there, but hopefully we are successful through the special project funding and are able to do it. And so a thank you to Julie and her staff in helping me get this file together.
I got you. Okay.
Thank you, Mary Kay.
Okay, any discussion or questions?
No,
Yeah.
I think it's a great project and great fit for special projects. And yeah, I know that heavy lift for that CDBG, and it's not easy, but yeah, good luck with that and congratulations. This will be good. Glad to be able to support.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's, you good? All right, so we'll go ahead and open it up to the public hearing. I'll give 3 minutes for individuals and 5 minutes for an organization. Anybody like to come up and add any information or thank yous or whatever, you know? Yep, so Okay, if nobody wants to come up, I'll close the public hearing, and that's what we need to do. That's it?
Right, so,
That's
yeah,
it?
so next is, the council will need to formally consider an administrative resolution, which is another part of the grant application for this project.
And that's a raise of hands.
Do you
Yes.
want her to
Read
read
it.
the?
Yeah, let's read that, yeah.
An administrative resolution, whereas the state of Maryland, through the Department of Housing and Community Development, has solicited applications on a first-come, first-served basis from eligible jurisdictions to apply for funding under the Maryland Community Development Block Grant Special Project Program. And whereas Talbot County is eligible to apply for funds from the Maryland Community Development Block Grant Special Project Program through the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. And whereas the Talbot County Council held the required public hearing related to the formulation of the Community Development Block Grant application on July 1, 2025, and whereas the Talbot County Council understands and acknowledges that they would be responsible for the completion of grant activities and any corrective actions, including the repayment of funds if necessary. Now therefore be it resolved that the Talbot County Council hereby authorizes the submittal of an application for a community development block grant special project fund in the amount of $121,090 for the Talbot Interfaith Shelter elevator lift projects located at 107 and 109 Goldsborough Street, Easton, Maryland 21601. The primary mission of Talbot Interfaith Shelter is to fight homelessness on Maryland's mid-shore by providing shelter, stability, support, and a path to success for families and individuals in need. Be it further resolved that the Talbot County Manager is authorized and empowered to execute any and all documents required for the submission of this grant application. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County this first day of July in the year of our Lord 2025.
Okay.
You need a show of hands for
Yep.
introduction.
Yep.
Introduced by council.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Everything
you.
else.
Thank you.
Being an administrative resolution, can we vote on this tonight?
Yes.
Okay,
Can-
So I'll make a motion that we move forward with a vote.
Just,
Second.
okay, we got a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Thank you for your
Okay.
support. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
Okay. I think you're,
We're back to the county manager report?
more clay stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Great, thank you, council, very
Uh-huh.
much. I'm gonna ask Ray Clark to come forward. Ray, good evening. Ray is here for two items. The first one, he is recommending the award of bid number 2501, request for submittals regarding statement of qualifications, cost of service, and rate study for the sanitary district for Talbot County. I'll fill in wherever you would like me
Okay.
to, and hand it over to you.
Good thing. Council, Ray Clark, County Engineer. Again, this was a RFP that was put out to bid. Ultimately, we received, I guess, a request for qualifications. On February 14th, we only received one bid. At that point in time, we then worked with that bidder and ultimately discussed the overall work and scope, set that up, and we received a proposal price of $48,800, and we're making a recommendation to the county council to go ahead and award, I believe it was, I'm looking for it here, Newgen, the contract, to go ahead and prepare this rate study. This will be a rate study that will be done for all of our sanitary districts, and then ultimately we'll then present those results to the county council once we have that information.
Okay.
So just to add, Newgen Strategies, the award would be $44,000, and then $4,800 to Davis Bowen Friedel to provide technical assistance, right?
Right, and I think the key would be is that Davis Bowen Friedel would actually be a subcontractor.
Very
to
good.
Newgen.
Okay.
Okay, any questions from council?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes? Aye.
Thank you, council. And then Ray's here to request your consideration to purchase 20 additional grinder pumps, and again, he'll explain what this is about.
Again, council, this is a request. We have grinder pumps within the Unionville, Tunis Mills, Cotterville sewer service area, as well as St. Michael's and the Tillman Island. Ultimately, we're requesting the purchase of 20 pumps with conversion kits so we can replace pumps, E1 grinders. We currently have E1, I think they're the 100 and 2,000, 100, 200, 1,000 and 2,000 series that are no longer supported by E1, so we're in the process of replacing those, as well as if there's a new connection that's made, we then utilize that pump and then bill the property owner for that pump. So the amount of this is actually going to be for $72,420, and this will come from the Unionville, Tunis Mills, Cotterville contractual services item, which is UTM C 9,000.
Did I hear you correctly? So when the pump tears up and we replace it, the customer is going to be billed?
No, I apologize. That is
I
not.
thought- I
If
wasn't
they
sure.
are an existing user, we would replace that pump. There is no cost for the replacement of that pump.
Okay,
However, if it's
I
a new
missed it.
house, we would then bill them for that pump. as
Okay,
part of it, yes.
okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
but no.
Yep, good.
So again, just for clarity sake, and I don't mean to be repetitive, but this is a request to purchase 20 grinder pumps in the amount of $72,420 from Premier Associates for inventory supply. And again, as Ray indicated, the sanitary district users will reimburse the county for the pumps that are deployed for new connections.
New
For
connections.
new connections,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
So moved.
Yep,
Second.
okay. We got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye. Sorry.
Okay.
Like
All right,
hesitation there.
good job, Ray.
Thank you. Ray, thank you.
Yep.
And I'm going to ask Cassandra to come forward. And I don't know if you wanted to bring anyone else with you, Cassandra? We have Scott Warner and Ryan Snow coming up. So they're here this evening, council, to talk to you about applying for an EDA grant to help offset the cost to provide utilities to the new hospital.
Okay, nice.
Good evening, Council. Cassandra Van Hooser, Director of Economic Development and Tourism for Talbot County.
Scott Warner, Executive Director of the Midshore Regional Council.
Yeah. So we're excited to be here. Finally, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel on this grant we've been working on for a number of months now. We're asking permission to apply for and receive a federal grant from the Economic Development Administration, U.S. Department of Commerce. And this is, as Clay indicated, to support the infrastructure installation for the Regional Medical Center. And our partner in this is Easton Utilities. They were unable to attend tonight, but they will be doing the work on this, and also this will help pay for or offset the cost of the substation. So it's the water main, the force main, and the substation. I asked Scott to attend just in case you have any questions. We are eligible for an EDA grant because we're part of the Midshore Regional Council. That would be Caroline, Dorchester, and Talbot counties. And we're a federally designated economic development district. Now, we did a work session, if you'll recall, on this with the town of Easton, who is our partner. Easton Utilities and town of Easton are our partners in this. And in your packet, you should have the overview sheet that we had put together for that, which lays out why we qualify for EDA grants, what the scope of the project is, and what this will help pay for. So we have a not to be competing with Mary Kay, but a grant application that's going to be a good inch thick or more by the time Clay signs it tomorrow. So we have been working on this again for more than 6 months and are ready to apply when you give permission. Scott, did you want to say anything?
I'm here just to answer questions.
All right. We want to be prepared just in case you all had questions, because I don't think you really had a chance to ask a lot of questions when we presented to the Easton Town Council, but we are here to answer any questions you have and to respectfully ask for your support.
Well, all I want to say is thank you. I know how painful it was years ago to have to give one of these up because of the project delay in getting the certificate of need. We didn't get the green light from the state. We didn't get the green light from University of Maryland medical systems to proceed with this, and had to give up that funding, which meant we had the greater bar of having to go back and ask for it again in this subsequent round. And I'm just grateful to all of you who have made it possible for us to figure out how we can qualify for this funding this time. I know you've put a lot of work into it, and that should be recognized. Thank you for this. This is such an important piece for allowing this project to move forward and for facilitating the county's commitment to this project.
So truly, I want to say a special thank you to Scott, not just for being here tonight, but because he has helped us walk through this whole thing and given great counsel, and will continue to read the grant application as he goes home tonight. We've been working on it together this afternoon. I also want to acknowledge other partners, including Easton Utilities, who have done much of the engineering work. And of course, on our own team, Ray Clark has been extraordinary, has coached us through this. Mark Cahoon, what a superstar we have in Mark, has provided many of the maps, and I kept going back today and asking for more maps. So we know every inch of this parcel and of the route. And then of course Ryan Snow on our team, and it has really been a team effort, and I just want to acknowledge that and have you all acknowledge that as well.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Long time coming, well done.
Yep, well done. Absolutely.
I'll move approval of the request.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye. Thank you
Okay,
so
good
much.
job, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
job, thanks.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Yep.
Thank you, Scott, Ryan. Okay, council, the next item I have, I'm pinch hitting for our finance director, Martha
Okay.
Sparks, who couldn't be with us this evening.
Yep.
The finance office is requesting council approval for fourth quarter budget transfers. Section 615 of the Talbot County Charter states that transfers between agencies of county government may be made only during the last quarter of the fiscal year and only on the recommendation of the county manager and approval by council. The transfers are related to unspent funds in other departments being used for budget transfers related to increased electrical cost, higher than normal snow removal cost, and increased maintenance contracts on facilities. This is a net zero impact. This is to conform with the county charter. And what this is really about, council, is rebalancing the FY25 budget to take money from where we did better and plug holes where we overspent. And so, as you know, we had a pretty significant snowstorm last year, which cost us a little bit more money. So this balances the sheet out. And so this is something that I need council's approval for.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second. Any questions? Okay. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Thank you, council. The next item I have is I'm requesting, with regard to bid number 2502, request for proposals for strategic facilities master plan development for Talbot County government. As you read in your agenda packet, I'm recommending the rejection of all bids for 2502. The cost exceed the current budgetary capacity for this project. This was for a master plan to look at county facilities moving into the future. You all appointed a committee to work on that, of which you have membership on that committee. We're going to basically revisit the issue and look at other resources moving forward. So we just need you to officially reject those proposals, and we'll certainly thank those people that did propose to us.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, council, I think the only last one I have is based on the amendment of the agenda. I would ask Micah Risher to come forward, the airport manager. You're going to have a request from the airport. They're requesting council approval to apply for an FAA Airport Improvement Infrastructure Grant in the amount not to exceed $17 million for Package 3. for the airfield modernization program. This is an amendment to the request that was approved by council on June 10th. Adequate funds are in place for the match, and Micah is here to explain all the details associated. Micah?
Thank you, Council. Micah Risher, your airport manager. As we've talked about, it's been a very dynamic grant season and bid season. Costs are up, and it's taken us a while to kind of drill down on exactly what the numbers are going to be. So with that, we will be more than $6 million in our request. So I'd like approval to submit a grant up to not exceeding $17 million. That'll give us the ceiling we need once we get all the numbers straight. We're actively working on them as we speak. My AECom team is crunching the numbers and getting the application ready for Clay's desk tomorrow morning.
Okay. Any questions or discussion?
No?
Okay. Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Steph?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, good job.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Micah. Appreciate that. Finally, council, just an announcement. County offices will be closed this Friday in recognition for the July 4th holiday, Independence Day. So, as always, council, thank you for your support for our efforts to carry out your policy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Stamp. Appreciate it. Okay, next on the agenda is public comment. There you go. Come on up here.
You don't always need a room of people as long as you get on the record, right?
There you go. There you go.
My name is Phil Riggin, 29736 Sullivan Drive here in Easton. A couple of things. You talked about, Mr. County Manager, that we're observing the holiday at the end of the week. That's nation's birthday. It's great, and I hope everybody gets out and does something heartfelt, patriotic, and whatever. In addition to that, I'd like to recognize today. This is the first day of your fiscal year, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
So happy fiscal year beginning, or whatever you do when you start that. So that's I've been following the budget process this past year, and I know that you submitted a budget or recommended a budget and approved a budget, as I recall, is about $1.5 million less than last year. So that's always interesting. I've said several times here over the months that I've been coming to these meetings that I appreciate what you do in terms of recognizing nonprofit organizations and activities for community service, to improve the quality of the community. You do it regularly. Some of these agenda items that you have are not the sexiest agenda items, but you go through and do the work. And today, you do the same thing. I mean, this St. Vincent de Paul project is remarkable. The organization is remarkable. I make a habit periodically on Saturday morning of driving by that place, and it is unreal in terms of the services provided. And the homeless center that you folks also supported earlier today. I just want to say that at least one person is not overlooking the little things that would sometimes be called the little things that you do. And I'm still amazed by what you do with the whole sanitary district. And I told you should get a gold star from the Chesapeake Bay Foundation for what you do on a regular basis there. But those are the issues of running government, county government, and you do it well. And you have at least one fan in the general population.
Okay.
So, happy 4th of July to all of us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you a lot, Mr. Reagan, for coming in here and saying some good words, because we rarely get that now. Okay.
Sorry?
We rarely get the good, positive energy, and I really appreciate you bringing that to us. That's for sure.
It's, it deserves recognition, and even if it's just a matter of stating it for the record.
Yep.
It's important.
Yeah, we'll let you in. We'll keep letting you in. Okay.
Sorry?
We'll keep letting you in. So, all right. Thanks a lot. Have a good, safe 4th.
All right.
All right, we're down to council comments now. Mr. Stepp, you want to start us off?
I will continue in the spirit of Mr. Riggins' comments. Just wish everyone, all of our citizens, a happy 249th birthday.
Yep.
And we got a big one coming up next year, so enjoy the festivities this weekend and all throughout the next year as we move on to 250.
Okay.
I'll echo Mr. Stepp's comments.
Yep, that sounds good.
Me too.
Okay.
Just ask that continued prayers be for the family tomorrow at the memorial and all the students that were friends with Darren.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like I said, let's have a safe weekend and a blessed weekend. And Mr. Lesher?
The County Council's next meeting will be held on Tuesday, July 8th, beginning at 5:00 p.m. The council will be convening an open session at 3:30 p.m. and then adjourning into closed session as listed on the statement for closing that meeting. Therefore, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting and reconvene as noted?
So moved.
And a second.
Okay. A motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
That's great. It's good.